In November 2005, while patrolling a famous villa complex on the outskirts of Beijing with his dog, a security guard noticed the dog barking non-stop as he passed by the residence of a young single woman named Luong Hai Linh. This villa area is near the capital's airport. The residents are all rich or powerful, the security is very strict, there are guards patrolling every half hour. The security team here all know Luong Hai Linh because of her beautiful appearance, sexy clothes, and driving a Mercedes-Benz sports car worth millions of yuan. She often comes home early in the morning, sometimes with different men to take her home, rarely going out for a walk. Approaching the door, the security guard caught a whiff of blood. Suspecting something was wrong, he informed the security team and the villa management. When they pried open the door, they found Luong Hai Linh lying half-naked in a pool of coagulated blood, her neck strangled with a rope and a large gash, and multiple stab wounds on her chest. Next to the body was a bloody box cutter. Police confirmed that the deceased was Luong Hai Linh, the beauty queen of Beijing's most famous entertainment venue, Heaven and Earth. Investigating the scene, the police speculated that the perpetrator suddenly strangled Ling from behind, with many cuts and mutilations, which were suspected to have been tortured. Ling died a few days ago. Police initially believed Lin had been sexually assaulted before her death, but this was ruled out after an autopsy. Cabinets and drawers in the villa had been ransacked, jewelry and cash were missing, and a wall had been smashed to reveal reinforced concrete. Police initially believed it was a break-in and robbery with the intent to murder. According to the villa's security records, Lin has not been out since she last returned home. However, 2 men visited her a few days ago. Surveillance camera data shows that a few hours after entering the villa, the 2 drove away. The security guard told the police that these 2 people had an intimate relationship with Lin, often staying for several days at a time in the villa. When Lin's colleagues at Tian Tuong Nhanjian showed them the photos of the 2 men taken from the surveillance camera, they quickly pointed out that the shorter man was Vuong Dai Vi, Lin's lover. Both were from the same hometown in Habak province, and Vi had worked as a waiter at Tian Tuong Nhanjian before catching Lin's eye. Through investigation, Lin and Vi were actually in a support relationship. Lin gave her lover 20,000 yuan per month, but the actual amount was much more. In a special working environment, Lin was surrounded by many men. The reason she supported Vi was because she had been kidnapped and wanted someone to protect her. After having money, Vi quit his job, spent all day partying and enjoying himself, so he got into debt. Lin helped him pay off his gambling debts and settle the conflict. A month before she was killed, Lin told others that she had cut ties with Vi and would ignore him from now on. Police found Vi's fingerprints on the knife at the scene and considered him the prime suspect. However, Vi had disappeared. When police searched Ling's home, they found 4 bank cards with a total of 10 million yuan in the account. This amount of money could buy dozens of 100-square-meter houses in downtown Beijing. They also found Ling's ID card at the scene, which at that time required only an ID card to withdraw money. The police were skeptical that if Vi murdered Lin for money, why didn't he take her bank card? The 2 had a close relationship, so he couldn't have not known that she had a lot of money in her bank account. On the other hand, Lin had no difficulty earning money and wouldn't risk her life to keep it if she was robbed. Police hoped to find answers to these questions when they arrested Vi, but discovered that on the day Lin was murdered, Vi had flown to Honduras, a Central American country, with another man. Through surveillance camera data at the airport, the police confirmed that the man was the one who accompanied Vi to Lin's villa on the day of the murder. He was Vi's cousin. Because Honduras had not established diplomatic relations with China at the time, Wei and his cousin could not be extradited. But just a year later, it was reported that Wei and his cousin had been assassinated in Honduras. With the deaths of the 2 suspects, Luong Hai Ling's murder became an unsolved case. The death of the beauty queen Tian Tuong Nhanjian has drawn public attention to this most luxurious entertainment venue in Beijing, and at the same time, People are curious about how Lin earned such a large amount of money. With the detail that the police found the private phone numbers of several high-ranking officials from other provinces in Lin's house, a popular hypothesis is that the beauty queen was murdered to silence her. Tien Thuong Nhan Jian was originally a nightclub owned by a Taiwanese businessman, a member of the infamous Tu Hai gang. In late 1994, Tan Hui Chin, a businessman born in 1968, bought the nightclub for $1.8 million USD. Tan Hui, who came from a military family and was originally from Sichuan province, was the owner of a mineral trading company at the time. Those familiar with Tan Hui knew that his connections spanned all departments in Beijing, and he had particularly close ties with Li Peiying, former chairman of the Capital Airport Group, and Zhang Enjiao, former director of the China Construction Bank. Tan Hui spent hundreds of millions of yuan to renovate heaven and earth in the most fashionable European and American style. He asked his subordinates to recruit flight attendants with high salaries. Some of the recruitment requirements of heaven and earth were spread, such as girls must be between 18 and 28 years old, 1.68 m to 1.75 m tall, have a university degree or higher, be fluent in Mandarin and English, and be able to communicate in simple Japanese and Korean. Those who pass the preliminary round will be trained and tested more thoroughly based on temperament, appearance, and education. Many of them come from art schools, modeling agencies, and the entertainment industry, and there are even some foreign girls. At its peak in 2003, the daily revenue of heaven and earth reached millions of yuan, with an annual profit of more than 30 million yuan. In the beauty pageant organized by Heaven and Earth, Luong Hai Linh was chosen as one of the 4 great beauties. Even if a customer was willing to pay 10,000 yuan, he still might not be able to talk to the beauty. Lin is a local who used to work as an accountant in her hometown, then came to Beijing to find work because the salary was too low. In 1996, Lin was introduced to Tien Thuong Nhan Jian to work as a waitress, with a monthly salary of more than 1,000 yuan, many times higher than her previous salary. But after learning about the income of nightclub waitresses, Lin changed jobs. Ling is over 1.7 m tall, has a sweet voice and an appearance that is said to resemble Taiwanese supermodel Lin Qiling. She became famous after becoming one of the lovers of Taiwanese businessman Huang Renjiang, receiving a blank check to fill in any amount. The number Ling filled in was 4 million yuan. In 1999, a chairman named Du spent nearly 2 million yuan on Lin in less than a week, just to drink and chat. Lin fell in love with Du and wanted to be his wife after learning that Du was divorced. But after following her lover back to her hometown, she realized Du's true face when he asked her to stay in the villa from now on to entertain business partners. Lin pretended to comply and then bribed a maid with a large sum of money, sending a message asking Dam Hui to rescue her. After Lin's death in 2005, Tien Thuong Nhan Jian and Dam Hui were pushed to the forefront. In the same year, Truong An Chiu and Li Boi An fell off their horses for accepting bribes. Dam Hui was arrested many times for investigation. At that time, there was evidence that the money Dam Hui used to buy Tien Thuong Nhan Jian was actually a loan from a subsidiary of the Capital Airport Group, and he had not yet repaid this amount. According to court documents, from 2002 to 2005, Zhang Enjiao received bribes from Tan Hui 6 times, totaling $60,000 US, HKD 200,000, and RMB 100,000. In 2006, Zhang Enjiao was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Li Peiying received a total of 18.6768 million yuan in bribes from Tan Hui, accounting for 70% of the total bribes he received. In 2009, Li Peiying was executed. Despite his close ties to 2 corrupt officials, Dam Hui remained safe and sound. Since then, he has quietly withdrawn his shares in Tien Thuong Nhan Jian, trying to erase his reputation as the owner of one of the most prestigious entertainment venues in the country. On May 11, 2010, Tien Thuong Nhan Jian and 3 other luxurious nightclubs in Beijing were blockaded by police, arresting 557 female hostesses. Meanwhile, Bribes to officials brought large loans to Dam Huai's two companies, becoming a source of capital for large mergers and acquisitions. In 2018, Dam Huai ranked 1,339th on Forbes magazine's Rich list with a net worth of $1.8 billion. However, after fraudulent financial reporting and illegal securities transactions, Dam Huai became a debtor of hundreds of millions of dollars and had to flee to the United States. On October 2, 2023, Dam Huai was arrested at a hotel apartment in Manhattan for using false identification documents. On March 18th, Dam Huai pleaded guilty to political donations under someone else's name and multiple fraud charges in federal court, and will be deported from the United States after serving his prison sentence.